Hello, everybody. My name is Badrinarayan, and I've been playing chess on chess.com for the last 8 years. Recently, I started sharing my journey on YouTube, basically documenting my games, adding commentary on my games, like why I made a particular move, why the opponent might have made a particular move, and so on. And today, I have two games for you. One is a rapid game, and one is a blitz game. And in both of those games, I actually set up some traps, and my opponent fell straight for it. These weren't very well thought out, very high level traps and all that. In my opinion, they were simple traps, but you still had to find it and execute it to perfection. And that's what I wanted to show in today's games. As you'll see, I have like a different logo up on the screen. I'm just trying to hide the moves list and add this logo there. These are not my official logos or something. And one thing is, I am really trying to get to 2400 rating. And as per that, I really wanted to be 2100 by February. It's already mid of February and I have not been able to achieve that. In fact, I am right now at 1981 and I'm really trying to get ahead there. But anyway, let's just go back to the games. As I mentioned before, I am going for really for the Catalan these days. I'll just skip ahead. And today we have the Catalan against the King's Indian defense. The King's Indian defense is considered the counter gambit from the black side against the Catalan. Okay, it's not a gambit, it's an opening. It's the counter opening against the Catalan. The essence is that I have my fiancé to my bishop, they have fiancé to their bishop, and the whole idea is like who blinks first. And I have mentioned this before. That's the reason why I chose Catalan because it leads into a lot of aggressive variations. But in this case, we straight away went into blunder territory. This knight e7. I am actually not sure what was the complete idea here. Even if it goes there, it doesn't do much. But regardless of what his idea was, this pawn is now in trouble because there are two attackers and only one defender. I didn't hesitate. I made a move in 2 seconds, and in 10 seconds later, I was a full pawn up. Now, one thing is, once you get past the 1900 level, being one pawn ahead is not going to do much for you. You need to be at least 2 pawns ahead minimum. Basically, you need to have a +2 ahead to feel more safer while playing the game or more confident while playing the game. And in this particular case, the opponent traded the queens and straight away tried to get the pawn back. And this is why it's so. Um, and this is why the +1 is not really a huge advantage at this level. With the number of active pieces, the opponent always has a way to win back the pawn. And in this case, if you see, this bishop is hitting this pawn and also this pawn. As of now, this pawn is defended by this knight, but that defense is going to be getting cleared very quickly because of this monster bishop. Look at this thing, my goodness. It's seeing this, and it's just waiting to crush all of it. This is the power of the fianchetto bishop, and I was I was really analyzing this for my next move for a long time. Of course, the side effect of putting this bishop here is that there is no one defending this pawn. But I knew that if I took that, um, rook comes back here, and eventually this pawn will die. And that was what I was really struggling with. But after 2 minutes, I finally went for it. Rook comes out to chase away the bishop, and here I'm supposed to go all the way back. Instead, I stopped midway here. Now this looks quite scary because if he takes with this knight first, and suppose I take with this pawn, this knight is dying, and that's not good. So, but at the same time, I knew that if I could take it back with this, if I find the right set of moves, I will not be losing anything, and I'll still come out with the +1 advantage. What I missed was him silently picking up this pawn, which is the actual move that he should have done. Instead, he went for this. I took back with the knight, and here, if he takes with this knight, pawn takes back, and even if he takes with this knight, rook takes back. and this knight is safe. And if he directly takes with this knight, I'm going to fork the two rooks. And as it turns out, he was ready to give up one of the rooks at this point. And in fact, this is the best move, which I don't really understand much. But anyway, I jumped in, and this is termed as just a good move and not the best move. And the engine says only 0.8, but I'm sure that, in my opinion, by virtue of getting a rook here, I am just ahead here. That's what I would say as my opinion. Anyway, I got rid of a rook and I pushed this pawn to chase that knight away. The knight jumped here, targeting this pawn. Rook jumped in to protect it. And now he brought in the rook. Now he's putting three things here. One, two, and three. And here itself, I saw that tactic actually. But but at the same time, I wasn't sure of it. So I just pushed this pawn ahead. Initially, I thought I'll move it one step. But then I thought, why not move it two steps itself? So now I have created this pawn chain here. And this pawn chain will be further strengthened by moving this pawn. And and I was sure that I was ahead here. And even the engine is telling 1.3 to me. And here he brought this knight here. Knight to c6. So once the knight comes to c6, it is hitting this pawn. It has two attackers and only one defender. The obvious move that you can think of is this, so that the pawn chain is created and this pawn is protected as well. But then I saw something else and I thought, let us set up this trap, see what happens. The idea is that there is simply no threat on that pawn. And I spent what? Yep, 44 seconds and finally decided to spring the trap on him. I just moved my bishop. If I had moved it earlier, it might look like I have just missed that idea over there. But after 44 seconds, he should have spent some time analyzing why I was giving up that pawn. He didn't, and just like that, the game was over. I am now at a +5 advantage, and even the engine says 5.3 for me. And the reason why it's 5.3 is because you cannot take this rook back. But he did take it back, and straight away it's an M3. It's an M3 because of one of the big weaknesses of the fianchetto. In the fianchetto, you need to protect your back rank. In this case, there is no rook protected back rank, no queen, and the rook jumped all the way there. And here the issue is there's only one move for black to go back, take the bishop back there. And I still have my dark square bishop. And with that, checkmate was inevitable. It just cannot be stopped. The only thing I had to ensure was that this knight cannot come to protect this bishop. I took some time to make sure of that. How long did it take? Not much apparently. Oh, like the whole idea was in that 44 seconds itself, I had calculated all of this. I did think that he might probably take with the knight first, in which case it leads to the same outcome anyway. But he did it this way, and I jumped my bishop there, and he had no way to protect, and it was just a forced checkmate after this. Black just resigned, I think. Oh, okay. Black did not resign. We won the game. Now in this one, um, this is a blitz game, and I'll just start the review. Once again, I'm going with the Catalan, and let's just skip ahead. So in this case, I did the double fianchetto, putting both the bishops on the long diagonals, and this is also something that I've been dabbling with. This is very successful when they accept this sacrifice, but even if not that, this is a good way to proceed with the game. And here I moved this pawn. I didn't want this bishop to come here. So that's the reason why I put it there. And now the only long-term idea was to get this pawn to e4. The e4 is controlled by this pawn and this knight. I have only one defender here. So my long-term plan was rook comes here and then this pawn goes here. That's it. That was the only idea I was thinking about. Here he actually finally traded those pawns. And here once again I thought like, uh, I mean, oh okay, like sorry. I think at this point I just missed something. I just moved the queen there without realizing that I was clearing out one of the defenders of this pawn. Pawn does have another defender, but that defender can be removed now. And it looks as though black is a pawn up, but in reality, this was a massive blunder. It actually says it's a mistake, but in my opinion, it's a blunder. And it's a blunder because of a superb sequence with three great moves. And the first great move is in d5. I have sent my knight to a square that is being covered by two different pawns. However, neither pawn can touch this knight here because this bishop is targeting the queen. Now the queen uh, can't go here, 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 and can't go here. There are two squares for the queen, this and this. Here, it looks as though there is a pawn to be captured. Black can capture this pawn because it's protected by the knight. Unfortunately, that fails because the knight can just hit this bishop, give a check, and fork this rook. This was the whole idea behind this. And the only way to save this is by taking the queen to c5. And initially, when I was calculating, I was thinking that this really kills the entire sequence itself. But then I slowly analyze, and boom, we put the knight in a square that it can be easily captured in the previous move. Now we are doing the same thing with this bishop. The queen can happily capture this bishop. However, once again, knight takes this bishop and forks this rook and this king. And he also saw that and pushed the queen back one more step because remember this queen needs to protect this bishop. Otherwise, it's not only losing that bishop, it's also losing that rook as well. And that's the reason why black went to d6. But even that was useless after this move. Finally, I take the bishop. I with check. I am sacrificing. I'm trading my knight there, but I got this pawn. And after I chopped it off, here I could take with the bishop as well. But as you know, I am a very strong advocate of simplification. That is why I took with the queen first, so that if he gives me the opportunity, I'll come by bishop here and skewer this rook. Naturally, he didn't do that. And oh, I thought I'd straight away went for the knight trade. Anyway, queen jumps here and rook jumps here. Like I said, at this point, I just wanted to get rid of all my pieces and just hold on to the +2 advantage. And I did think that they might trade the queen for the two rooks, which is exactly what happened. But I was ready to face this trade. In my opinion, if the opponent has both the bishops, you cannot do this. The whole idea of this trade is that you have two rooks, but the opponent's two bishops can tag team and try to get rid of one of those rooks in this scenario. And that's the reason why, in my opinion, I don't like this trade whenever the opponent still has the bishop there. And look at this. The position, remember, is insanely open. It's a very open position here, which means that this bishop and this bishop can uh, they have lot of open areas to harass the rooks, and that's the reason why I didn't like this trade. Anyway, check is given. I pushed the king upstairs. The rooks are doubled. Sorry, I don't know why that happened. The rooks are doubled, but the doubling of the rooks gave me one more pawn. But I still um, went for this again. I'm just going to simplify things from here on. He took the rook there. Okay, what was the best move here? Okay, the best move is to defend this pawn, which he didn't do that. I think he was trying to go for some mating tactics here, but there's simply no mating tactic here. This bishop and this pawn, it completely blocks the rooks. It is yet another reason why I'm saying that in this scenario, the queen for the two rooks was not a good trade. And anyway, I cleared out the knight and I got the extra. Now I'm +2 ahead. And he took the rook there. It's m8. And funnily enough, I saw this. Bishop takes this pawn, then goes here and finally targets this pawn. Or bishop takes this pawn, queen checks, and then this bishop goes here. All this is I didn't see the others. This is the side entry. I just could have gone here and it's going to be an unstoppable checkmate after that. For some reason, I only saw this roundabout way to do the same idea. Anyway, uh, that's what I did. I gave up that pawn. And once the bishop came here, that pawn was dead. There was no way to protect that pawn. I guess he should have. Okay. At this point, it's M10 only because the black can keep sacrificing things to stay ahead in the game. In reality, this is the kind of move that they would make and check and mate. That's it. So yeah, in both cases, I won with a nice trap. This was but I was more happy about this trap because this involved a sequence of longer moves, and every move had to be perfect in this. But still, I was able to pull ahead, and I won both of these games, which is why I wanted to showcase them today. Let me know what you liked about these games, and more importantly, what you didn't like about these games. Thanks you for watching.